A little bit of a rant. Car dealerships are incompetent. The people who work there are incompetent. The people who work on your cars are mostly incompetent. They're slightly better than like a Jiffy Lube, or like a quick oil change place. That's about it. I do trust them to probably put an air filter in, do an oil change. Anything beyond that, they're pretty incompetent. Um, I had I have a Subaru BRZ, and right in the dealer, I'm gonna zoom in on the manual for you. So let's see, active sound control. Active sound control provides dynamic engine sounds. When driving with sport mode selected, the engine sounds will be particularly loud. The operational non-operational setting of active sound control can be changed by a Subaru dealer. Contact your Subaru dealer for details. So what do? I set up an appointment, and I asked them, hey, can we do this on a Saturday? That's the most convenient day. And basically, they told me without straight up saying it, like, the only competent people they have work Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday. So they can't do anything on a weekend that's not just like a basic oil change. So I was like, okay, so I have to go there during the week while I'm at work, schedule it at 10:30, clock out, drive over there, get there just to have them do that. And they're like, yeah, we can't do that. I talked to my service manager and he doesn't know how to do it. It's like, it says in the manual you guys can do it. And then also I've seen online multiple people have had it done by Subaru dealerships. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can do it. So then I was like, can I talk to your manager? Can you go ask him or something? Like, all you have to do is plug in the programming tool and turn the active sound management off. If they gave me access to that tool, I could probably figure it out in like 5 minutes. And then he comes back like, yeah, no, we don't know how to do it. This and that, we haven't done it before. Like, I think there's a tube you have to disconnect. And I go, no, there's no tube. It's just through the speaker system. So for one, I mean, I don't expect him to know every car, every detail about that. But you'd think the dealer would know at least something, or like, I guess nobody's ever asked about that at that dealership, which is kind of surprising to me. But even they had one guy there that's like, oh, there's a guy who has a Subaru, a BRZ, and like you have to go under behind the dashboard and unplug it, which you can pop off a side panel and do that in like 5 minutes. And I know I can do that, but I just wanted them to do it the right way through the dealership, through the computer. And then they're like, yeah, we'll do it for you. We'll charge you $250. $250 for 5 minutes of work to unplug a module that it says the dealership can turn it off for you for free. The car's brand new. I just want them to turn it off. So, like, that's not the only reason they're incompetent. That's just service departments. But I've had multiple experiences like that on cars where if you know anything about cars and you bring it to them to do something, that's just like an out of the ordinary, not a standard typical maintenance. They get all confused, or they don't know how to do it, or they don't know what you're talking about, or you have to like find a dealership that can do something for you. I had a 2017 Corolla. I just wanted them to drain and fill the transmission fluid. It was a CVT. The manual doesn't say to change the CVT, but I wanted it done. I was commuting that car at like 90,000 miles in 3 years. I had to like shop around to get a dealership that would do it. The place I normally went to over Oil Chan's like, yeah, we don't do it. We don't recommend it. The service manual doesn't recommend it. I was like, I know, but I'm paying you guys to do it. I want you to do it. So finally I had to find a place in Walnut Creek that was just like, yeah, we'll do it. Just bring it in there. And they actually did it for me. But anything out of the ordinary, especially service-wise, they have no idea what they're doing. Like, your warranty is only as good as the people who are actually going to be able to work on your car. So I don't know how much I trust that. Then another thing is, like, whenever I bought a car and go in there and go, like, I always know more about the car than they know. Especially used cars, say if a Dodge dealership has a Ford or something, Fiesta ST, Focus ST, they have no idea what the car is. They have no idea of any of the features, which maybe I would expect that. But at least if it's a Subaru, the dealership should know about the Subaru. If it's a Toyota, the dealership should know about the Toyota. But even then, they don't even know what they're selling. When I actually went in to buy my BRZ, I went in there, and the guy who's selling me the car, he basically knows nothing about it. And he asked me at one point before, he was like, "You want to do a test drive?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he goes, "You know how to drive a stick, right?" And the car is a manual, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I've driven a stick plenty of times. I'm sure you've probably had people come in here to test drive cars, and they're either stick shift, they don't know how to ride it, don't know how to drive them, or that wasn't clear when they get here." And he goes, "Well, yeah, that happens, but also I don't know how to drive a stick shift." Like, dude, come on. Like, if you work at a car dealership, you gotta know how to drive a stick shift. But I guess he was learning. Like, not too much shade on that guy. He was okay, and I guess I'm just old. Young kids don't know how to drive stick shifts anymore. But still, there used to be certain jobs, valets, working at car dealerships, and things like that. You had to know at least how to drive the car. But yeah, I guess this is just my little rant. Car dealerships have no idea what they're doing when it comes to service. They have no idea what they're doing on the cars they sell you. If you go in there and you don't know anything about cars, they're going to bullshit you. I've asked them questions like, "Hey, is this a timing chain or a belt?" They have no idea. "Is this CVT like chain driven or a belt driven CVT?" They have no idea. Which, if you have no idea of the car they're selling, why are they even getting a commission? You might as well just plug it into a computer, give me the best price you can give me, and I'll just go pick it up at that point. I'm there to get information, ask questions. They're supposed to be there to answer, but in my experience, I've never met really a car salesman who knows what they're talking about, um, or a technician, honestly, who seems like they know any more than I know. Um, I would expect that maybe from a Jiffy Lube, but from a dealership, I do expect a little better. And I live in a large metropolitan, San Francisco kind of Bay Area of California. It seems like we'd have some people here that know what they're doing, but from everything that I've seen, they're incompetent. If you guys have any experiences, put a comment about it. Let me know what you've seen. I'm sure there's a ton of stories from a ton of people, but just a few little examples. But I don't know. I just felt like I had to rant about this, especially after going to Subaru and saying, "Hey, do what it says in the manual you can do." And they're like, "No, we don't know how to do that. We can't do that." I thought it was ridiculous. Oh, yeah, I forgot there was a little bit of a part two to my rant, too. So after they told me they couldn't figure out, should I put them on blast or not? Now I won't put them on blast, but they're the most closest dealership to me. And then I reached out I said, "Okay, well, let me try to contact the dealership that is like one of the biggest cities nearby. They've probably dealt with the most cars. They've done stuff like this more." So I reached out to another Subaru dealership, very large city, well known, basically across the country. And I talked to a service guy there about doing the active sound control, turning it off as well. And I did give him my info. He said, "Hey, all right, I don't know about that, but I'll have somebody call you back." Sure enough, never got a call back from them. So I've never heard from. I will never hear from them. I already know that too. Like, they're not gonna call me back. I bet you I can reach out to probably 5 different dealerships. Not only do they not want to do the work because even though it takes 5 minutes, I guess it's something they have to do. They're not getting paid for. And then I just also think they don't know how to do it, which I don't think it would be hard to figure out. If you can use a scanner, you can get to the settings and figure out how to turn that off. So that was my part two. That's what kind of made me want to do the rant too, is reaching out to a second dealership and still basically getting a runaround. And then I know people are going to ask, well, if car dealerships are incompetent, why do you even bring your car into them? For the most part, I don't. But if something's under warranty, you want them to do it, or you get like free services, why not utilize it? Oil changes aren't cheap. And then certain times, there's just times that it makes sense. Say with the Corolla, the CVT situation, there's a certain procedure that has to be followed to do that fluid. It's pumped in. There's no fill tube like the old school. You have to pump it from the bottom and pump it into the pan, basically. And that's a lot easier when you have a lift. I don't have a lift. I have a garage. I have a jack. I have basic tools. when it comes to doing stuff like that, buying the Toyota specific CVT fluid, pumping it in through the bottom without having a lift, and then there's a certain temperature that it has to be at to check the fluid. You pump it in, you remove this plug. It has to be between like 190 and 205 degrees exactly, um, to do it. And the only way to really have all that information is with a lift and have a good quality scan tool that can give you a temperature readout. So certain things I do pay dealerships to do based on, is it harder to do? Like, I don't mount my own tires. I do my own brake jobs. For the most part, I do my own oil changes, and not always because it's cheaper, but because I know it's done right. I know what oil is going in there. Um, so for the most part, I do my own services. But when there's something a dealership only can do, especially like programming things, or it's just a lot easier. Sometimes the day you're gonna spend fighting with something, or the risk of not doing it right, is just worth it to pay $200 to a dealership and have them do it. So I do trust them on fluid changes, certain things like that, certain dealerships. Um, but for the most part, I stand behind my comment. My rant is that they are incompetent.